Part 2. Into the Darkness. Kansas City's underworld was a labyrinth of backroom deals, gambling dens, and hidden corridors where law and order had long since lost their way. Garwood knew this world well. He had spent years navigating its dangers, sometimes at the expense of his own safety, always at the cost of his soul. But this time, it felt different. This time, he wasn't chasing ghosts, he was chasing the truth. His first stop was the Riviera, a speakeasy known for its unsavory clientele. It was a place where information flowed as freely as the illegal booze, and Garwood had a contact there, an informant who had long been a thorn in the side of the Carlucci family. Manny the Mole was nervous when Garwood sat down across from him. The man's eyes darted around, a bead of sweat forming on his brow even though the room was cool. He knew Garwood's reputation, knew the detective was the last honest cop in the city, which made their meetings perilous. "She's alive, ain't she, Manny?" Garwood's voice was soft, unthreatening, but there was no mistaking the steel beneath the words. Manny shifted in his seat. "Garwood, you gotta understand, this ain't no small thing you're talking about. If I give you this, you ain't just gonna have the Carluccis on your back. You're gonna have the whole city on your tail." Garwood leaned forward, his eyes unblinking. "I don't care about that. I care about her. Where is she?" Manny's hand trembled as he reached for his drink. He took a long swig before speaking. "Word is, they're holding her at the old freight warehouse down by the river, but it ain't what you think. They need her. She's a body double. Carlucci's mistress is in danger from the Irish. They think the girl can pass for her." Garwood felt a knot tighten in his stomach. It was worse than he imagined. Olivia wasn't just a hostage. She was part of a scheme that could get her killed in more ways than one, and time was running out. Manny wiped his brow. "You're crazy if you go down there alone, Garwood. That place is a fortress. You ain't walking out of there if they catch you." Garwood stood, slipping a small wad of bills onto the table. "I've been through worse." He turned to leave but paused. "Thanks, Manny. Keep your head down." Part 3. Betrayal in Blood. Garwood knew the warehouse Manny had mentioned. It was a relic from another time, long abandoned by legitimate business, but still used for smuggling by Kansas City's criminal underworld. Getting inside was going to be dangerous. Staying alive once he was inside would be near impossible. But Garwood had a plan, and an ally, albeit a reluctant one. Sergeant James Whitley, a cop with a questionable reputation, was waiting for him outside the precinct. Whitley was everything Garwood despised, morally flexible, a man who had turned a blind eye to corruption more than once. But tonight, he had come to Garwood with an offer of help. "They're going to kill the girl, Garwood," Whitley said, his voice grim. "I can't be a part of it. I've done a lot of things I'm not proud of, but I'm not letting a kid die." Garwood studied the man. "What are you talking about, Whitley?" Garwood asked dismissively, wondering if he could trust him. It didn't matter. He had no other choice. "I know you met with Manny. I know you put it together, and I know you are going to try and save her," Whitley replied. Garwood's stomach turned at this. Whitley had to have known all along, or even been involved. After a short silence, Garwood spoke. "You help me get in there, and we get her out. Nothing else. Understood?" Whitley nodded. Together they made their way to the warehouse, creeping through the shadows, avoiding the guards posted around the perimeter. Garwood's heart raced, but his mind was focused, every step calculated. But as they reached the door, something went wrong. The sound of a gun being cocked echoed through the alley. Garwood turned just in time to see Whitley's eyes widen in shock before a bullet ripped through his chest. "No!" Garwood shouted, diving for cover as more gunfire erupted. It was an ambush. Whitley had been a dead man the moment he decided to help, and now Garwood was next. He drew his .357, his fingers steady as he returned fire, his mind racing. 6 shots. He had 6 shots, and there were more than 6 men. But that had never stopped him before. He moved with deadly precision, each shot finding its mark as he took down one man after another. But there were too many, and soon they overwhelmed him. No time, no opportunity to go for the smaller revolver on his ankle. A sharp pain stabbed through his side as a knife found its mark. But Garwood fought on, his fists and feet turning the alley into a battleground. In the end, 11 men lay unconscious or worse at his feet, but Garwood was wounded, bleeding from the knife wound in his side. He stumbled to Whitley's body, his hands shaking as he closed the man's eyes. "I'll make this right," he whispered, his resolve hardening like iron